Anyways, all right, listen, I'm here with Scott Smiley from the Concept Law Group. I'm thrilled to have you here because I've known you for a long time, and you guys do incredible trademark work, copyright work. So tell everyone a little bit about yourself and the type of lawyer you are.
Thanks for having me, first of all. This
Yeah.
is a pretty cool setup you have here. But yeah, as you said, I'm an intellectual property attorney. I'm formerly known as a registered patent attorney. That means I not only passed the Florida bar, but I also passed a bar that the patent office gives. And in order to do that, you have to have an engineering background, which I was an electrical engineer before law school. So a lot of hurdles to get there.
Yeah, that's very cool. So tell us a little bit about the Concept Law Group.
Well, it's a firm that I started back in 2010, and originally it was just me. I had been with a couple firms before that, and it's just grown over the years. It's amazing. I'm proud, amazed. I never thought it would happen that we'd have done so much and be what we are today. We have 8 attorneys now, and we've handled amazing cases that I think we've been very fortunate to have the opportunities that we've had.
Sure. And not only do you guys do the trademarks, the copyrights, those types of things, but you also do the litigation, like the lawsuits type stuff regarding intellectual property.
Right. So there's 2 sides, or maybe 3 sides to intellectual property. So first you have to obtain it. And for some forms of intellectual property, you just by thinking of things and creating things, you have some rights. Others, you have to file for them properly and be granted those rights by the government. And that's one side of the firm. We call it the prosecution side, where you're trying to get these rights and you have to fight sometimes to get them. Then we have the litigation side, where somebody has infringed your rights, or maybe they're accusing you of infringing their rights. And so that has to take place in the courts. And then there's a middle ground part of our firm where you're handling the business agreements, the contracts with maybe software developers or web developers, things like that.
And whenever I think of, trademark copyright, really for all the lawyers or small businesses that are watching this, whenever they have an idea that they really want to have trademark copyrighted, protected, those slogans, whatever it might be, a phone number, are you the firm to reach out to start that process?
Yes, and it amazes me when someone starts a business. It's typically an expensive process. There's a lot that goes into starting a business and getting it off the ground and getting it running. One of the most important things is to have a name so people can find you. Nowadays, everyone has to be found on Google. That's pretty much where you have to live, and you have to be able to be found on there. And so when you start investing in your business, you're trying to buy goodwill. You're trying to build that with the public. So everyone knows you, they can find you, they have a good experiences with you. And it's critical to have a name that, number one, fits your business and that you can protect so that no one else can pretend to be you. Because that's the last thing you want, is to spend all this money, be successful, and then have someone else show up on Google results above you because they have your same name or a similar name. So getting a trademark should be one of the first stops for any business.
I think of here in South Florida, everyone knows the 411 Pain mark, right? You used to be on TV and it's the billboards and then there's the jingles on the radio. And I just remember there was a case involving another company that tried to use a very similar number, and 411 Pain ended up getting a judgment against them because they had stolen their trademark. And so is it critical in the beginning of the business to get your mark like that protected?
Yes, and you can only imagine how frustrating it is for 411 Pain to spend all that money, all that advertising. Probably was very difficult for them to buy that number. And then some competitor comes along and starts using the same name. Maybe they had a domain name or something that was similar.
Yep.
And they're stealing clients from that company.
Yeah, I think it was as simple as like one company, like 411 Pain was like 1-800-411-PAIN. And then the other company was 888-411-PAIN, or something similar.
Right, yeah. And so trademarks are established to protect both the company and the public. So if I have, let's say somebody I know used 411 Pain and they were matched up with an attorney that did a great job, and I want to hire them, I'm going to be very upset if I find out I accidentally hired this 1-800-411 pain, the wrong company.
Mhm.
That's cheating me as a member of the public because I'm been tricked. It also cheats 411 pain because they deserve to have me as a referral find them because they did a good job. And so trademark law protects the consumers and it protects the business owners. So it strikes a nice balance.
What is the difference between like a good patent and a bad patent?
There's a lot to be said about patents. So a patent itself is generally regarded as the most complex legal document there is. It is incredibly important that every word in a patent is thought out, carefully crafted, that you don't say too much and you don't say too little. And it has to be accurate. It has to be a document that supports expensive litigation. That's why you want a patent, is so you can sue someone for stealing your idea. And that's federal litigation. You're going to typically have a big budget on the other side because these products make a lot of money, most of them. And so if your patent can be attacked for having a flaw, it's going to be. So if you're going to engage in that kind of litigation, the application needs to be perfect. The patent, when it's issued, needs to be almost perfect. Everything needs to be thought out in that patent. And same with trademarks. Those trademarks, name you give a business, has a broad range of bad to good names. So a very bad name would be one that's descriptive of what you do. So if the name is something that your competitors need to be able to use in order to describe what they do, you're not going to be able to stop them. If you pick a name that's very arbitrary, like let's say Red Bull, right? Red Bull has nothing to do with energy drinks. Red and Bull have nothing to do. That's a great trademark because none of the competitors can say, I need to use the word Red Bull to describe what's in my can. So,
Coca-Cola, Pepsi,
right? They can never say that. So Red Bull gets to fight everyone off that uses Red and Bull together in the drink market. But had they have used South Florida energy drink, let's say, if I'm going to be competing against them and I'm in South Florida and I'm selling energy drinks, I'm allowed to say that. So if they would have filed South Florida energy drink, they would have no protection over me competing with them. So that would be on that bad side of the spectrum.
So if a small business owner or a lawyer or a law firm or whoever wants to start the process, what do they do?
For
whether it's a patent, trademark, copyright, I mean, who should they contact?
It sounds like a commercial, but I think they should find an attorney, somebody who's experienced and who's done this. Now you can go to LegalZoom and you can try to do it yourself through their website and all that. But for, let's say, a trademark, you need an attorney who's going to understand exactly what you're selling or what services you're providing and figure out what class to file you in, how to describe what you're doing, how to find, because you have to submit proof that you're actually doing that to the trademark office. So you've got to make sure your description perfectly matches exactly what you're doing, that it's filed exactly the mark that is appearing in public. It's got to be perfect. For a patent, you almost have to see an attorney for that. I would not advise filing your own patent application. Go see a patent attorney that can understand exactly what you've come up with and describe that invention in a document that the government will accept.
You know, whenever we talk about complex legal issues and legal matters, whenever I think of like LegalZoom, I say to myself, that is, in my mind, the worst thing that an ordinary consumer should do or could do. And I think there's a little bit of a worry that they're going to spend some money up front as opposed to going through the very, less expensive, cheaper route of doing LegalZoom. But
yeah,
I always say it like this. It's like whenever I try to like bid like a contractor, like I'll have like 5 different people come out to my house and I want the lowest price. And then inevitably it gets done wrong. And then I have to pay more money to get it fixed. Then I go back. So it's like you end up paying twice. What is it, like buy it nice or buy it twice?
Yeah, I never heard that.
I always recommend people, if they're going to do a patent, if they're going to do a trademark, to reach out to the Concept Law Group, speak to you guys, speak to Scott Smiley, get the advice, pay a little bit more up front so that you get it done right.
Well, I couldn't agree more.
So where's your office located?
We're in, I guess, the north edge of Fort Lauderdale on Andrews and Cypress Creek.
And as far as the types of cases and clients, like, do you handle cases just in Florida, outside of Florida, where?
Because I'm a member of the patent bar, I can represent clients all over the world, but definitely all the states, because we're dealing with a federal agency. So I can represent them in those agencies. So we do have clients everywhere.
All right, so
every
if someone from California or Washington, Wyoming, or whatever, the Midwest, Colorado, was watching this video, they can reach out to the Concept Law Group if they have any questions about trademarks, patents, copyrights, things like that.
Yes, I hope they do.
All right.
But no problem. Zoom makes it very easy, and we don't have to have inventors carry their invention into our conference room. They can send us pictures or videos, and we can talk about it remotely now. It's pretty easy.
How can those people, those inventors, those small business owners, whoever is interested in intellectual property and protecting themselves and enforcing their rights, how can they get in touch with you at the Concept Law Group?
Conceptlaw.com. Call 954-PATENTS, or call my direct line, 754-300-1315.
All right. Well, listen, I appreciate you being here, and it's such a fascinating area of the law, and I think you really have the ability to help so many, not just individuals, but business owners and others.
That's what I love most about it. And I call my side of the firm Happy Law, because most people are coming to me with new ideas, new businesses. They're happy. My partner deals with them when they're unhappy, when they are in litigation, but I'll stay on my side if I can.
So they're happy with Scott Smiley.
There we go.
They're Smiley and happy with
You're
Scott
my
Smiley.
new marketing guy.
There you go, man. All right. Well, thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Eric.